All right. Hello, everybody. This is Dolev from Israel. Dolev, why don't you just start by telling us about yourself, what you do for a living, and we'll go into the nerdy stuff in a few minutes.
I live in Tel Aviv. I'm married about a year ago, I think.
Congrats.
And thank you. I do software engineering full-time. I worked at Facebook for about 5 years, and then currently at Wix for a year and a half. I did a lot of full stack, a lot of, but more or less more front-end. And yeah, recently, in the past year, I got into the whole rising community and optimizing my developer environment. Some of it thanks to your videos. Of course, I took some inspiration from those.
Nice.
But also, I think it was the fascinating personality of the Primogen who started it all.
Sure.
I love watching his videos, and yeah, it's a big rabbit hole.
Oh, for sure. All right. So tell us, are you using Arch then? You say you're racing. What distro do you work with?
Oh, no, I'm using a Mac.
A Mac. Okay, cool.
Racer.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm a Mac guy too, so that's all good.
Yeah.
Sweet. So this is how it goes. I personally am a big Tmux and Neovim fan. I like these terminal-based workflows. It sounds like that's what you've gotten into. So why don't we just dive into it? Share your screen with us, and we'll start going through your workflow and see what your day-to-day is like in the terminal.
Yeah, so as I said, I took a lot of inspiration from you and from the Primogen, and I'm a heavy terminal user. So a lot of my stuff is pretty similar to you. So I don't know how much I don't know, be different than you. So maybe it won't be new to other users, but yeah, let's go into it. Yeah, so as you said, I use Tmux and Neovim as well. So usually I have a session manager built into Tmux, just like you have. I can choose one of my open sessions currently. I can do that. And if I want to open a session with a directory that I don't have a session for right now, I can also do that. And these results are sorted by, I think it's Zoxide.
Yeah.
So every time I choose a session, the script updates the score, one upset.
Is this so a script you wrote?
Yeah. I think if I go to scripts, you can see, and let's see.
TT or T? Yeah, so you watched my original video. I have a new one coming out. I turned this into a Tmux plugin, and it has some cool new features since I originally posted that video.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'll send you a link, but yeah, it's grown a bit.
Yeah, so I think this one is from your videos, and then I upgraded it a bit, I think, with Zoxide to I think add which one ups the result.
I do that as well.
And then I have this, I think, to show the status bar here, the name of the program that runs, and I have another script to get the icon. And I tried a lot of stuff. I messed around with it a lot by trying to show the current directory and show. I think this is a good halfway point between minimal and also informative. So I usually work in one session. Let's say I'm here, and then I open a bunch of windows, and then I usually just go between Neovim and the terminal. I have keyboard shortcuts, and I took the inspiration from you to have them use the command key. So I use command, what is it called, semicolon, to quickly switch between them. So I usually do some editing and then switch back and do, I don't know, npm and switch back. And if I need to work on multiple repos, I have another shortcut, which is just my tick key moves 1 letter to the right. So it's like the backtick. So I do command backtick to switch between the two most recent sessions. And this is usually how I work. And if I need to access like another session, I'll just use the command K shortcut that I have set.
Dolev, can I have you minimize me on your screen? We're seeing double.
Oh, you see that? Oh, okay.
That'll clean things up. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I also created a Tmux plugin to add icons to the Tmux windows. So that's cool. So I see you're using Kitty, the terminal emulator. Can you tell us more about like why you made that choice and what features Kitty offers that you're leveraging?
Yeah, I think I started off with searching for the fastest terminal emulator, and I heard a lot of stuff about Alacrity. So I tried that for a while, and then I basically wanted ligatures, and Alacrity didn't support ligatures. I saw that they have an open issue, and it has a lot of heated debate. So I saw another video of someone using Kitty, and I switched. And basically, I think it performs just as well. It has ligatures, and I'm not using any of the features in terms of multiplexing that it offers. I just use Tmux. Right. And then I have some stuff for SSHing to my server, which uses a kitten as a plugin for Kitty. And I think I also have like Control-Shift-U, which I can choose a symbol. I don't know. Choose one of the symbols. Cool. If I develop a CLI app, I tend to use that a lot. But other than that, yeah, pretty much Tmux takes care of everything else.
And I see you're using Starship as well for your prompt. That's a really popular choice for people. I love seeing that.
And so I started out with all the plugins enabled, and then I pretty much disabled them all to have a super quick shell startup. Yeah.
And then what shell do you run?
I run fish. So
fish. Nice.
Yeah, I have a lot of aliases. Like if I type cat space, it turns into bat, and it makes the history a lot more readable. I like that. I can share comments with my teammates, and they can see what I'm doing without all the alias magic. And yeah, and then FZF for finding commands. I use that a lot, and also command NNP and vmod for editing the command I'm currently running. And yeah.
Fun fact, Starship lets you change the icon when you're in Vim mode, if that's something that is of interest to you. So when you go into Vim mode, it can actually change the like icon on the side, which is a fun little visual indicator.
Yeah, I settled on the block, and I actually had a lot of trouble with the highlighting stuff where it didn't show right, so I messed with that a lot.
Yeah.
And then I also have like custom aliases for my directory, so you can see right here it says @personal, which is actually code personal. So it takes that and shortens it like an npm package. So if I go to my home directory and code, it just looks regular, and if I go to @personal, it shows.
That's cool. How is that achieved?
Yeah, so Starship has a feature like I can think if I go to my .files, yeah, and then I think it's .config Starship. And then, yeah, there's the directory substitutions.
Oh, cool.
Section.
I didn't know that feature existed. That's really cool.
Yeah, so my company has a ton of repositories.
Yeah.
So if I go into code Wix, you can see all of these. It shortens out the name. It doesn't show up like as a super long string.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry.
And I'm a keyboard nerd, so I'm hearing you clack away. What kind of keycaps are not keycaps? What are your switches?
Yeah, so I was the Moonlander, and I recently.
Yeah, Team Moonlander. I keep meeting you guys. We all have the Moonlanders, don't we?
Yeah, it's super popular as a off-the-shelf keyboard. I think that's the most appealing. It's super overwhelming on the content in the keyboard community on how to build your own.
Do you have your
and
layout?
I just wanted an ergonomic. Yeah, I do.
Pull that up for us.
Yeah.
Oryx, yep.
Oryx, my layouts. Yeah. So I use the home row mode. So I went through so many layouts, and this one is the one I settled on. So it's super convenient to have these on the home row for all the going through words and selecting them and stuff like that. They're all on the same row for that.
Yeah.
So it's super convenient for that. Yeah. If I have my escape key here for Vim. I have my symbols here on the second layer of the symbols with all the brackets right next to each other, so I can spam them for JavaScript. If I create an arrow function, it's just like my index finger and pinky doing a roll. And my numpad is over here, and also my arrows have a layer, and my Spotify controls volume and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then I can change my language with a single button click and screenshot and caps word. It's pretty useful for coding. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, no, this is great. There's so many unique ways of configuring this keyboard. Like yours looks very different from mine, which I always find interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about everybody's favorite. Let's talk about Vim. So you have Vim open. Are you using a distro? Did you spin up the configuration all yourself?
Yeah, I spinned out all the configuration by myself. I started out when I think Neovim was at 0.5, so there weren't a lot of distros. And I was interested in a lot of YouTubers who wrote their own. I don't think there was another option at the time. And then I enjoy it, so as I continued fine-tuning my Neovim setup to exactly what I like. Yeah, maybe at some point in the future I'm gonna go over to a distro, but since I like things to be so fine-tuned to me, I find it easier to just maintain my own setup.
Yeah, most of the people I've talked to on this show have their own configuration.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone back and forth a lot about this. I am really curious. So something I saw in that last file you had open.
Yeah.
How you've decided to deal with like diagnostics, like warnings and errors and things that show up on the screen.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Maybe reverse back to what you had open.
Yeah.
So like line 17, line 20 have some things. So What do you do? Okay, so it pops up.
Yeah, I have a shortcut to go to the next diagnostic with D, with a square bracket D, which is a popular square bracket is like the popular jump to next something.
Same.
Yeah, so D, and then it also shows the error, and I think this is a plugin called Status Call, which uses the latest like Neovim status column stuff.
Okay, cool.
To display the icons, and yeah, I can just go through them, and I also have like Trouble, which is a really popular diagnostics tool to jump between the different errors in your project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
No, this is great. Are there any, like, what's file navigation for you? I see you have Nerd Tree open a lot. Do you reach for Telescope as well?
Yeah, I do a lot of work with Telescope. I also have Command P, just like in your setup, to open like
nice
Git file stuff. And I also recently discovered a plugin that sorts all of this stuff based on your frequency, and recency, I think it's called, frequency and recency. So all the Telescope pickers use that. I use like a SQL database behind the hood to sort items. So even my like Telescope picker for my open buffers is sorted by my most recently used, and I also have like space to go between the last two files. And I do reach a lot for the tree here, but I usually just search for something and then jump to it, because if I have a lot of files, I usually find it pretty hard to remember their names, and if the project is very large, I like seeing the structure, like that. And I also recently discovered, I think it's a Telescope picker for Git, which also shows a pretty cool overview of all the commits that touch the file compared to master. So I have that open up to see when and why someone added code. So yeah, I use a lot of Git stuff as well in Telescope.
That history of commits, is that an extra Telescope plugin you have to add?
Yeah, exactly. That's
okay, cool. Yeah.
I think it's called Advanced Git Search. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Check it out. Yeah.
And okay, so let's talk a little bit about package managers. So how are you managing your Vim packages?
Yeah, so I use Lazy. I switched over to it when it came out with all the hype around it, and it's pretty convenient to use. Yeah, it makes a lot more sense than what Packer did.
Do you show your load up time on the home screen? I think.
Oh no, that's a cool idea.
By default, I've seen it in a few distros. They'll be like booted up in 50 milliseconds, right? Oh, there you go. Lazy start, 16 seconds. Lazy done, 50 milliseconds.
Pretty good, yeah.
So that was literally what I guessed. Cool.
I think the most painful point was like updating plugins and having them break your setup, and this one uses a log file so that you can sync to GitHub. So if I updated an evening before work and all my setup broke, I can just roll back, and all the UI is pretty awesome.
Yeah, totally. This is great. No, this is very cool. And I see you've got code folds. That's cool. So tell me more about that blue column.
Oh yeah, I actually don't know why they pop up sometimes, but I don't really use code folds. Yeah, something with my status code configuration makes them pop out.
I bet it's a feature, that they offer.
Yeah, I do use folds when I'm doing like code reviews, where they fold up all the irrelevant code. Didn't have any changes in it.
That's
so I
cool.
do like that.
How do you achieve code reviews? I've talked to someone in a previous episode about that.
Oh yeah. So I use my tool that I wrote.
Yeah. I just started using this, by the way. This is really cool.
Oh yeah, that's great to hear. Cool. So let's say, let me take something that doesn't involve my work. Yeah, so someone did something to Monaco VS Code API, some repo. I can just copy the URL with Shift Y, and you can see it copied it down below. And then I open another tab, go to Neovim, and do Octo, and then paste in the URL.
Yes,
so Octo is a plugin to do code reviews, and then I do Octo view start, and I can just basically do. I have space OCA to add a new comment, and then I do Command S to save it, and it just uploads the comment straight away. And also, if like I have some changes in my I don't know, my local files, I can do a diff view open, and then I can see all my changes here, and then the folds come in handy and all that. Yeah, and then
when you have,
it opens a new tab. Yeah.
I was just curious, when you have like changes in your files and you make commits, are you using a Neovim plugin or LazyGit or anything like that to?
Yeah, so I did use LazyGit a lot, and then I switched to Git UI just recently to try it out because it's starting up much quicker. But the main drawback is that I think I didn't quite explore it fully yet, but the key bindings are a bit weird because they use arrows and not Vim key bindings like AJKL. But from what I've used, it's pretty convenient. So it opens a Tmux pop-up. I'm thinking of changing it so it will open a Tmux window instead, because then I can't do a Command K to open the session switcher pop-up. So that's annoying. But yeah, other than that, I just do commit all the files, press C, put in my commit message, and then push the changes. So it's pretty fast loop.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything else, like maybe Neovim plugin you discovered recently, or something about your workflow that makes you really productive, or anything else you want to show us?
Yeah, so I use like a lot of. I have a key binding for space asterisks, searches for the word under the cursor. So I use that a lot. Just like in Vim, asterisk takes you to the next occurrence. So if I put a space before it, it opens it up in Telescope, and then I can do Control-T to put it in my quick fix list, and then I can just jump around stuff. Let's see, I have something else interesting. Yeah, I use Glance, which is pretty cool. So if I don't know, have, let's see, I don't know if it will work. Yeah, you can see it right here. So it opens up a window. If I do go to references, it opens up a window with all the preview of the different results, and I can jump over to the result.
That's cool.
And yeah, I have some other Mac stuff, like use Raycast for some stuff. I have a script to connect to my work VPN, which basically is an Apple script that clicks here and then connect. So I don't even have to reach my mouse for that. So that's pretty cool. And I have, I think, an emoji picker I use Raycast for that as well. And also there's like code search, which I have open up. So I use a lot of GitHub code search to copy code from someone else, basically. And yeah.
I want to, my emoji picker is different than yours.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm using Raycast, but I don't have the tile thing set up yet. Is this a different plugin, or is this? Oh, this is the search emoji plugin. Interesting.
Yeah. I used to, there's another Mac app that does Slack style emojis, like when you do colon happy or something, it searches stuff, but then it doesn't work well with Hebrew because you need to change language, do colon, change language, and then you're in Hebrew, and then it doesn't work really well. So I settled for this. Yeah, and it works really great. Yeah.
So this is, I just looked it up. This is the Raycast built-in extension. So I'm gonna switch to that one.
Okay.
It looks prettier.
Yeah.
Cool.
They recently updated it. Yeah. So,
yeah. No, this is great. All right. Raycast, we talk about, are you using any cool new trendy browsers? Are you an Arch guy?
Oh yeah, I do use Arc.
You're using Arc, yeah?
Yeah.
Anything specific here that is, I guess you got work and personal? Is how you broke it up?
I have work, personal, yeah. There's not a whole lot here to, I just use Commenty for everything. And then I have a keyboard shortcut to go over between the tabs and like between the spaces. And that's pretty much it. Even extensions, you can try and use them from Command T. You can just type, I don't know, a work extension. Let's see. If I go over here, yeah, Vimium work. You can just.
Right. It's a Chrome extension.
You can use Vimium. Extensions from here. Yeah.
I love it. I use it a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Vimium is great.
It gives you Vim key bindings on the browser, basically.
Yeah, exactly. If I press F, yeah.
Right.
Then I'm considering also using a similar plugin for Neovim, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah.
Oh, interesting! Like a jump to
like
section.
Leap, I think, is a popular one.
Leap is one I use. It's like an improved version of F. So if you want to hit F to find a character, what Leap will do is it will look past the first line, and it'll look at every place that character is on your document, and it gives you like letters to hit. Yeah. And if you hit that letter, it'll jump to that instance of the thing you're trying to find.
Yeah, so it's pretty similar to too. Okay, cool.
It's a similar
idea. And I'm already used to F for Vimium, so yeah, I think I'll get used to it first.
Cool.
Yeah.
This has been really fun. Thanks so much for showing your setup with us. And we'll link to your dot files. We'll link to this Moonlander layout. If it's all right with you, we'll make this public.
Yeah, of course.
And I'll make note of all the things we talked about.
And cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, keep doing these videos. I love learning from other people's setups.
Yeah, I love it. Great. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you very much.